Well, hi there, I'm Noah Bradley, and this is Handmade House TV. I've got a really good episode ahead for you, so stay tuned. Well, all right, today I'd like to share with you a tale of two tables, and two tables that I have constructed in my lifetime. And the first one is the table that is holding my cup of coffee sitting here next to me today. It is a table that I built years ago, before I ever started my business. At that time that I built a second home for myself, a home that I was extremely disappointed with when I got done with it. And I can say the same thing with regard to this table, that I went to the effort of putting it together. And at the time, I built it strong. The table is still enduring here 30 years later. It's still extremely functional. I was proud of it when I finished. I put in a lot of effort into building it. It's built with yellow pine, and the top of it is birch plywood. And the reality is that this table turned out ugly. It is just an ugly table. There's no question about it, just like that second house that I built for myself. I thought that with the skills that I had and the ingenuity and the fact that I was moving forward and constructing something, that if I built it out of wood and I used good, strong techniques, that I would end up with something that I was well pleased with. I brought it home to my wife, and she smiled, and in as kind of a way as possible. And we did use this table, but the reality is that it's ugly. It is just an ugly table. And I am so thankful that this is not my last creation, that this wasn't the legacy that I had to pass on to future generations of my particular skill level. Just like that house that I had built. Now, it's one thing to build an ugly table. It's quite another thing to build an ugly house. Because a table is, well, I've only got a few hours worth of effort into it. It's not a tragedy if it were to get thrown in a dumpster. But when you put out as much effort into building a home, as much time, as much of your money, as much of an expense, as much of as a presence as what a house is in the landscape, it's important to get it right. You don't want to go through the learning curve that I went through with regard to this table. Now, it's interesting that I built that ugly house and this ugly table at the same time. And whereas once I got finished and came to the conclusion, accepted the reality that I had built ugly things and what was up with that, and my quest over the coming years in order to achieve the highest possible level of aesthetics, at about the same time that I built this log cabin, which was the first log cabin I ever built. Once I had started my own company, that was now over 30 years ago, this particular cabin made the cover of Country Living magazine. Clearly, I had figured out something with regard to the design and construction and aesthetics of homes in order to get them as appealing as what they possibly can be. And here is one of those tables that I built about the same time as I built that log cabin. So you can see that in just a few years' time, suddenly I'd figured out the difference between the two. Now, this more attractive table didn't cost me any more to build than the first one. It didn't take me any more time to build than the first one. It just took me paying attention to the details with regard to what makes an attractive table and what makes an ugly one. And those are the secrets that I like to share with you within all of the courses that I give here. The realm of aesthetically appealing homes does not belong to just the wealthy. I have worked for several billionaires and provided homes for them, but I've also helped many individuals who are week-to-week folks who want an attractive home. And the fact is that it's not a question of the size of your wallet or purse. that enables or empowers you to build an aesthetically appealing home. It's just a few insights, a few key secrets, and that's basically what I share within in the core Handmade House Academy that's available over at handmadehouses.com. But it's also in every academy that I present to you, and that is that not only how to work with these wonderful materials that nature has provided for us, but also in how to bring out the most attractive structure so that when you get done. Now, it's an interesting fact about this old table of mine, and that is that I still have it. It still hangs in there, and it still is a very useful thing to have. I have offered this table to all three of my adult children as far as would you like this? It's something your dad built, and all of them have politely let me know that they have no interest in the table whatsoever. That it's not a very pretty thing to have. But when it comes to the other tables that I have created, the other furniture that the children have lined up, eager to pick which one that they might want. And it's the same thing with you, and that is that if you're going to go to the trouble of building your home, I hope that you will try to build it as aesthetically appealing as what you possibly can, so that your descendants, those who live in the house after you, are as pleased with it as what you will be during your tenure in the home as well. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode here on Handmade House TV. It's a little embarrassing for me to share with you the fact that my early attempts were failures, that I built some pretty homely things in my lifetime, but I figured out the difference, and that's what I'm trying to do here on Handmade House TV, is to try to help you avoid the disappointments and the regrets in life, and to start out your next home construction at the level I'm at right now. Before we go, I would like to thank 5 new members of the Handmade House Guild. They are Benjamin Ziegler, Ed Miller, Arn Donne, Howard Skinner, and Paul Kirk. Guys, thank you so much for signing up with the Handmade House Guild and all your kind words with regard to the courses contained within. If you're not already a member of the Handmade House Guild, by all means, learn more about it over at handmadehouses.com. And if you're not on my newsletter, the new newsletters are about ready to go out, so you don't want to miss out on them. Make sure and come over to Handmade Houses and sign up. The Handmade House newsletters are free, so seize the opportunity while you can. We look forward to sharing with you more here on Handmade House TV next week. Until then, you guys take care. We'll talk to you then. Bye now.